Great. All right, welcome everybody. It's good to have you all here with us. Today we're going to be going over the Chisholm Legacy Project, Black Liberation and Just Transition Institute, our certification program. It's great to have you all here. You'll please put questions and thoughts and comments into the chat, and we will have a question and answer portion towards the end. And I completely forgot to introduce myself. So I'm Tanya Lord. I am the Associate Director for the certification program at the Chisholm Legacy Project. And I'm joined today with LaShawn and Jackie, and I'm gonna have them introduce themselves before they begin. And with that, I'm going to start us off. Sorry, having technical. So I'll come again, and I'm going to go to Jackie to talk about why now and why are we launching this important initiative today.
Great.
Jackie?
Thank you so much. Okay. Yeah. Thank you so much, Tanya, for getting us started. And it's a joy to have you all here. Also, we invite you to introduce yourselves in the chat. Just say your name, organization, where you're hailing from, anything you're interested in hearing more about in this course of this presentation. We'll try to weave it in as well as we can. So we want to start by reminding everyone of the mission statement of the Chisholm Legacy Project, because it gives you a sense of the context in which the Black Liberation and Just Transition Institute is situated. So the mission is rooted in a just transition framework. We serve as a vehicle to connect Black communities on the front lines of climate justice with resources to traverse the path from vision to strategy to action plan to implementation to the ultimate goal of transformation. In support of frontline leadership, we seek to link movements and mainstream entities with the tools necessary to advance systems change centered in equity and justice. And with Black women on the front lines of advancing systems change, we aim to ensure that the leaders, thanks so much, Okanaya, have the support they need as they transform society from extractivism to a living economy that cares for sacred relationships between people and with Mother Earth through regenerative, cooperative, and democratic systems. So that, again, is just our mission statement to situate us. Next slide. So the why now? So we know that we're in the midst of the converging crises, not the least of which the attack on what never really truly was a democracy, but the attack on even the semblance of a democracy. And we'll talk a little bit more about that. And so the communities that we are focusing on as the Chisholm Legacy Project are Black rural communities, but also we're focusing on, again, Black liberation in general, but in the context of working with allies and comrades on broader aims towards just transition. And so the Black liberation and just transition, thanks, Carla, no worries, you're right on time. The Black Liberation and Just Transition Institute sits within this broader aim that we have around advancing just transition for us all, and Black liberation as a necessary condition to just transition for us all. So when we look at the economic challenges in our communities, starting with Black farmers, in 1910, Black farmers were 14% of all farmers, so more kind of on par with our representation in terms of the population. And now in 2025, we're less than 2% of all farmers. Rural counties with higher percentage of Black residents are more likely to have higher poverty rates and lower employment. And the shifting of agricultural jobs due to automation and so forth. Yes, exactly, Sister Carla. And we still don't have a decent farm bill. So the outsourcing, the shifting of jobs due to automation and so forth have disproportionately affected Black rural communities, which have experienced job loss since 2001, while other rural areas actually saw growth in jobs. Next slide. So another part of, so as we talk about the really decimation of any semblance of a democracy. We know that one of the things that led up to it, and that is even intensifying in this new political circumstance that we're in, is around restrictive voting laws. Even when, oh, welcome, Sister Diane, even when we started to have some voter laws that became to be on the books, we know that there was kind of what was technically on the books and then what the reality was in terms of contradictory laws and conditions and realities that kept folks from being able to vote. And we also know that even the incentive to vote, in terms of people feeling like they're a part of something that's supposed to be called a democracy, has hampered the true representation of certain communities in our governance systems. Next slide. And when we're talking about rural health in the United States, we know that the age-adjusted death rate in rural areas is 20% higher than in urban areas. We know that majority Black rural counties are more likely to be designated as health professional shortage areas. And we know that all of this means that in Black communities, welcome, Sister Cosetta, that in Black communities, people have to go further in order to even access any notion of healthcare, which means that, you know, people are more likely to be sick because of different exposures, which we'll talk about in the next slide, and less likely to be able to get the care that they need to address the illnesses. So therefore, the mortality rates are higher. Next slide. So when we talk about environmental and climate injustice, we know that African Americans are 1.6 times more likely to experience severe inland flooding than the general population that live in the same area. So it's not just where we live, but it's also, even if we're in the same area, we're more likely to be in flooded situations. That we have the highest projected increases in mortality from extreme temperatures. That we're 40% more likely to live near hazardous waste sites and industrial facilities, and more exposed for higher levels of pollution, regardless of our income. And this contributes to these higher rates of asthma and other chronic illnesses, which, again, going back to the other slide, if we're more likely to have these illnesses, less likely to have proper health care. And we know that Black farmers are particularly vulnerable to climate-related crop damages from heavy rains, soil erosion, and droughts. And again, going back to these discriminatory governance policies that favor large white-owned farms from the beginning, since post-emancipation with the Morrill and Homestead Acts, that right from the onset disadvantaged Black farmers and advantaged white farmers. Next slide. And so I had to go for small font to talk about the number of attacks on environment and equity and justice under the current administration. We all know about the administration proposing revoking the endangerment finding as the legal basis for regulating greenhouse gases. So just eliminating emission standards for vehicles, power plants, and other sources. I mean, I could just read that 5 times and alone and say where we are in terms of the threat. Clean energy policies have been rolled back, opening up of gas drilling on public lands and offshore. Many regulations and enforcements are being rolled back. Of course, the U.S. has withdrawn again from the Paris Agreement. And the dismantling of DEI initiatives, the weakening of civil rights enforcement, targeting disability rights, restricting reproductive and LGBTQ rights, chilling free speech on campuses. We've seen the ways that various campuses have stepped back. I won't name them, but we all know who they are. Undermining international human rights and so forth. Next slide. So why now? So that's the why in terms of the context, and then also why now in terms of, we know that we need this vision. As they say, without vision, the people perish, as I believe Frederick Douglass said. So we know that they say people who are closest to the problems are most equipped to design the solutions. And so we need to follow the vision of frontline communities. Next slide. So already we know that the communities are equipped to design what's needed to make the changes. And so as we put together the Black Liberation and Just Transition Institute, we are drawing from the expertise of the community. So it's not us that are teaching these courses, it is the community, the frontline communities, the frontline folks who are out there. I think it's 200 and some odd folks who have come together, and it is them that we're just basically providing the platform for the frontline folks to talk about the changes that we need and how they've been able to affect the changes already and how we need to make that the norm. Next slide. So from Mountain Bayou, Mississippi, the oldest African American community in the United States, where we had 96-year-old Mr. Johnson, I believe, really talking about the lessons that he's learned over the years. To the smallest person in the room was 1-year-old teaching us the lessons of the importance of joy as we do this work. People on the front lines are the ones who are best placed to advance the solutions that we need. Next slide. And just recognizing the where we want to be, which is we have to know the system. So we have 18 courses that folks will talk about with you that are really helping us to know each and every one of these systems: the water system, the food system, the energy system. We have to know the emergency management system. We have to know these systems in order to in the meantime make them at least better for our folks, but in the long term to say what systems need to be dismantled and what do we need to build anew in order to have true equity and to justice and liberation. So when we talk about the just transition, we're talking about stopping the bad and building the new, and we have to know what is, and we have to also have that vision of what should be. So I'm handing it off to Tanya to direct us into the next part of the presentation. Thank you so much.
Thanks, Jackie. Such important background. I'm just gonna go over the people who we're looking to reach, that we're aiming to reach through the certification program. So you heard a lot of the different populations being talked about earlier, but the Black frontline community members, so those interested in organizing in their communities, those directly impacted by the environmental racism and systemic injustice, and then anybody interested in learning how to organize and advocate for change in their own communities and neighborhoods. Current organizers that are looking to grow their skills, emerging leaders ready to engage in transformative equity-centered climate and environmental solutions, technical assistant providers looking to increase their skills, and allies like myself who are interested in how to help and support the communities that are being impacted. So with that, as we try to reach out to all of these different people, we want to go over now the Certification Institute, what it is and how it's structured. So with that, I'll turn it over to LaShawn.
Thank you, Tanya. Good afternoon, everyone. I am LaShawn Roberson. I'm the Senior Director of Programs here at the Chisholm Legacy Project. As you can see here, we have 18 courses that are up and available for you all to enroll in. They range from advancing water justice, land justice, energy justice, different challenges that we see on the front lines in our communities. And of course, it's growing. So you can see that there are 6 identified courses that we plan to have coming up soon. So we'll be adding birthing justice, healing justice, and so on and so forth in order to make sure we're meeting the moment and providing the program that's needed in our communities. All right, so then we have 3 certificate levels. So tier 1, which is the apprentice level, that consists of online training. Then we'll have a tier 2, the practitioner level, and that particular level will have you develop and implement an action plan. And then tier 3, that achievement is the Maven level, and you'll be able to see a transformational change within your communities. So next, I'll go into the details of what tier 1, the apprentice level, looks like. So there's between 15 to 18 hours of content, online content. The participants are able to navigate these courses and modules at their own pace. Each of the modules consists of the video content, which would be a main video. Some have multiple videos there. There are additional videos that are supplemental to whatever the content is for the main video, and then also supplemental resources. So there are toolkits of how to navigate different things in your communities, whether you want to petition an investigation and smells or different things like that, and just how to navigate some of the actions that community members take in their communities. And then, and I'm sorry, I don't have glasses on. Engagement. So of course we have created a platform, a discussion board where participants, they respond to the material that they have seen, and then they can engage with one another. So this allows our participants to enhance and more so develop their peer networks. A lot of them already know each other, but if not, they're able to connect and be aware of the different things that's happening in their peers' communities or the challenges that they're facing. And then at the end of each of the modules, there's an assessment, which in order to pass to the next level, there's a minimum of 80%. It's just to check your understanding. I'm sure everyone will be able to do that. And here is an example of the course objective. So after the session, each of you will take an opportunity, hopefully you'll take an opportunity to look at the courses in more detail. You'll see that each of the courses have their own set of objectives, but then as you enroll in the courses, you will see that each module also has their specific, the specific objectives for that module. And the faculty. Of course, we could not do this without the faculty. As Jackie earlier stated, that we do not create this content. The people who are on the front lines and experience these things, they create this content. So there's no way that we can have over 300 hours of content contributed by over 239 faculty, representing 152 organizations. And then we also have over 70 individual community leaders who did not associate themselves with a specific organization. And if you're here, thank you. It's a heartfelt thank you. All right, so faculty highlights. So we will take a brief moment, 2 minutes, to share this video just for you to be able to see some of the content that we have developed. Of course, it's over 300 hours, so you have to dig in to get the full experience. But in 2 minutes, here we go. Tanya, can you please?
Yeah, I'm gonna stop sharing for just a second because I want to make sure that it will play correctly.
Thank you, Carla. It's absolutely a community collaboration. It absolutely is. And I'm genuinely thankful for all of the faculty who contributed to this certification institute. It was truly a pleasure working with each and every last one of them, as you will see moving forward.
All right,
Okay.
so as Sean said, LaShawn, if you can just let me know if you hear the sound. So I'm not 100% that it is working, but this is just 2 minutes out of 300.
Tanya, there's a lag. Can you just open it up in YouTube?
Got me one day.
Oh.
They asked me one day, is it true that in the United States, most farmers put a seed in the ground and they don't pray or sing or pour libations or dance or even say thank you to the seed, and they expect it to grow and feed them? When I ashamedly admitted to the truth of this, they said, well, no wonder you're all sick. Treat the earth as a thing, not as a living relative.
And so when we think about both Black liberation and centering that within the transportation and goods movement space, it is not enough to address the superficial issues that we're experiencing with Black and brown people. You have to change the machine that is producing these outcomes in the first place.
So many of the economic issues that have plagued small communities like the communities in the Mississippi Delta were rooted and grounded in environmental issues, historic racism, stereotypical segregation, all related to environmental concerns.
Right? So by by the 1920s, you're looking at 15 million acres of land being amassed by African Americans, and close to 925,000 farmers on the land.
Wow.
Was
So wading in the waters of traditional Negro spiritual. No one knows who authored it, but it started off in slavery. It was used by the collective and has been passed down orally from generation to generation.
Thank you, Tanya. I hope you all enjoy that short snippet of content that we have. It's just a very small snippet of the powerful, impactful content that has been developed in the Certification Institute. At this time, I'll turn it back over to Tanya. She will go into depth of tier 2, the practitioner level, and give you details around that.
All right, thank you, LaShawn. And you're seeing the slides back, correct? Awesome.
Yes. Yes.
All right, so as LaShawn talked about, all of those, tier 1 is all of the different videos of about 15 hours per program. And as they complete that, when they complete that, they move into the practitioner level, which is developing an action plan that's a community action plan based on what they've heard. So each of the apprentice level videos has a section about action planning, about putting this moving it into the communities and things that you can do. So very specific action planning for some of them. Here they will get supported, and you will hear later how we would love for all of you to help support the people moving into the practitioner certificate level. And then they will implement those action plans. So it's really developing the action plan, implementing it is part of the practitioner level. Now, as they go into the third level, the tier 3, the Maven tier, it's completing those first 2. And really in the Maven certification part, it's not an action that they're doing. The actions have all happened, it's the achievement. So they've moved into seeing some of the changes within the community. We don't hold on to them long enough to do a full evaluation for years, but really seeing how they move into the community, and what is the outcome, what is the change that the actions have done. So that could be passing a law, getting a law passed, establishing a local food project, or creating a clean energy microgrid. So looking at it from, at this point, it's the accomplishment of the actions. And to further think about how this might look, this is an example of moving through the certification, all three parts of the tiers of the certification project. So again, you've heard about the tier one. Tier one includes multiple speakers. There are a few that are done by one speaker. The speakers have a wide range of experiences, from lived experience to learned experience, and work for many, as you saw, many different organizations. So there's the learning, and those were examples of speakers for our climate adaptation resilience course. And then in tier two, some of the sample actions. So there's creating the goal, and then the goal is to create and launch a youth climate resilience leadership program in partnership with the local schools and with 50 students enrolled. So some of the sample actions are to secure approval for establishing the leadership program from school administrators, and then really thinking about some of the interim goals, recruiting 20 students within the first 6 months, and then obtaining and implementing the funding for it. And then as that moves into tier three is the outcome. So the outcome of the goal of creating a youth climate resiliency program is that it is created and it's implemented, it's in the works, it's comprehensive, it's multifaceted, and it's fully on the road to making further change within the communities. When we think about, so LaShawn had mentioned the interactions and the engagement that the participants have, and I just pulled a few quotes from them as they're talking to each other or talking with us about their feelings about being part of this. And what you'll notice as you read through some of them is that they are learning pieces of it, and they're already thinking about their own neighborhoods, their own communities, their own states, their cities, and what are they going to do with some of it. So you see somebody fully better understanding lead pipes in the city that they live in New Orleans, and thinking about the financial strategies. This other one in the middle is looking to say how much information they have and how they plan to utilize it in their own organizing. And as they complete the tier one, we hope all of these people will move through, and they're being encouraged to do so. What wasn't mentioned is we do touch base with everybody one-on-one for check-ins and to see how they're going, and reach out to people who maybe aren't have stalled with looking at it, not to pressure them to go forward with it, but to really encourage and find out if there is some way that we can help them succeed. And so again, just a lot of gratitude for the program. And then, some of the reasons why people are doing it, and even the top one in the yellow on the right, all this makes me feel like we need more and louder community organizing of water and waterways. So that's somebody that we can, hopefully will learn how they can be part of that, increasing the community organization. All right, I will then bring this back to Jackie to talk about some of the impact and benefits of this type of program. Jackie?
Yeah, thank you so much. So already the participants have said in their own words what they've experienced and as they've gone through the very first stages, which has just been largely the training aspect, tier one. but I wanted to share what some of the folks who have come out on the other side have gone through all 3 stages, because this is actually, as some folks know, I was originally at the NAACP for 11 years and then started the Chisholm Legacy Project 4 years ago. And so when we were at the NAACP, we did a certification program on energy justice, sea level rise, and equity and emergency management. And particularly for the energy justice one, where we had the most time, where people were able to go through all 3 tiers. Also, I want to call attention to the link that Tanya just put in the chat, which is to a blog post that she wrote to launch, to do the official launch of the Black Liberation and Just Transition Institute. And it in some ways answers a question that was posed earlier about, oh yes, thank you. Since I organized, give me that context there. Great. So yes, and so I'll put some of these images here so you could see some of the past participants, particularly in the energy justice training, who had, and really these images kind of show are the images of where they've been since they've participated in the energy justice program. Jocelyn Travis from Cleveland, Ohio, started off. She was actually a person that I interviewed when we did this cold-blooded video. And it really, she was talking about living in the community and not having any idea of this coal plant in her backyard. I can't remember the name of the Lakeshore plant in Cleveland, and no, that she nor folks in her community had much of an idea of like what it was actually doing to the community until some of this work started. And now she was tying it to the illnesses that she sees in her community. And hopefully I can maybe find that link and put it on our site so you can see that video where she was doing that interview. And that was way back in like the early 2010s or something. And fast forward, she went on to become the Environmental and Climate Justice Chair for her local branch. And then she went on to join on the Sierra Club and be the environmental justice organizer for the Sierra Club, and really led several campaigns to victory in her community, and really got a lot more people, mentored others. Other youth have come to me and said they've been mentored by Jocelyn Travis, so in the field of environmental and climate justice. So she's really come a long way. She also testified at several hearings with the EPA and so forth. And then Cedric Aswega Gates used the work that he learned through the energy justice program to again gain heights in his community. Then he became an elected official. Joanna Hardesty at the bottom, she took the energy justice certification program, used the principles to then become the basis of developing the policy on the Portland Clean Energy Fund, then really was a key leader in that campaign to pass that Portland Clean Energy Fund, which is transformative not only for the community in the Portland, but also has been transformative for so many, because it's become this model ordinance that others have sought to replicate. And then based on her kind of standing and leadership that she gained through that campaigning, she went on to become the first African-American woman to be elected to the Portland City Council. So these are just 3 kind of snippets of things that folks have done and gaining that experience, and then going on to other opportunities and building on that experience. And so deepen practice in advancing Black liberation and just transition, skills for programming and implementation, which they did, professional development, which certainly happened there with people moving through the ranks of different professions, being a part of a network of peers. A number of the groups that have started are still to get together and working together, having access to a resource list of faculty who have some of whom have committed to being the technical assistance provider resources for ongoing support as people go from the learning part in the tier 1 to the implementation part in tier 2, and the transformation part in tier 3. And then of course, the ultimate end that we're looking for is not only the community transformation for that community, but as we saw in Portland, that shining a light for other communities as well. So just wanted to give a little bit of a sense of what's possible for folks who go through this program. So thank you. Handing it back.
Thanks, Jackie. So as we look at how can you partner with us, this is the fun part, is thinking about the, just spreading the word to colleagues, communities, friends, family members, whoever might be interested in the different topics that we have and learning more about them. You can join the BIPOC directory. The link is there, and we will put the link in the chat as well and make sure you have it. If you saw the future certification programs that we're looking for or looking to create, and we will be starting to create that. But if you are listening to this and you saw the list and you saw the ones that were the future ones that we're doing, and you're thinking, well, what about this topic or that topic? We'd love to hear your ideas and continue to build the certification program with many, many, many more programs in it. We would love for you to sign up as a technical assistant provider. Again, the link for that will go into the chat. This is where we're calling on people, as I mentioned, for tier 2, to really help people with what actions can they be planning and taking, and how does that will translate into work. So having people who have that experience and have done it before. We have quite a few, many of the faculty have also offered that level of help, but we could use a lot more and would love to have you be part of that. If you saw a topic that is of interest to you, whether it is, and as Dr. Norris had asked, we bring in faculty members who have the degrees and who have the expertise from a learned experience. And we also bring people in with lived experience, and often mixed up and, all in one person. But if you saw a topic that is of interest to you, you have some desire to be part of that, you can certainly please reach out to us to be a faculty member on any of the upcoming programs. We talked about becoming a technical assistant partner. And then if you would like to apply, or you know of people that are interested in applying, our next cohort, we do cohorts by month, will be in September. The deadline to apply is August 15th, and I believe that will also be put in the chat. And August 15th, and we would love to see you all there. So I'm going to pause here for any questions. So, Oganaya, do we have any other questions in the chat?
I didn't see any other questions, and no one has their hand up.
Okay, so if you would like to ask a question, if you have comments, ideas, suggestions, just excitement you want to share with us, then we would love to have you do that. You can use the raise your hand function and come off mute, or you can put it into the chat. So I see one hand up, Oganaya.
Okay, sorry, I was looking.
I think it just went up. I just can't see. It's on my other screen and it's steaming.
Yeah, Shanae, Shanae,
I won't keep you all long. So I just wanted to actually say verbally that this was extremely helpful. I signed up for the certification last year, which was during an election year, and I didn't prioritize it. And it wasn't purposeful. It was just, I'm in Florida, so it was very chaotic. But to listen to the actual presentation really is helpful for buy-in. And really, there's a level of excitement about the certification that this helped for me to have. And so I appreciate you taking the time and the effort to even put it together to do that. And I wanted to say that.
Well, thank you so much. We really appreciate that. And please, we have timelines on, recommended timelines for the courses and for the other tiers. But if you had to take a break and you're able to log in, just join us. And if there's any questions or any way that we can help you, get restarted, or maybe you've decided you want to try a different topic, a different course, please just let us know, and we are excited to have you back, and thank you for sharing that excitement. It mirrors our own. We're very excited about all the whole program. Thank you.
Carla has a question. What materials are best to share with folks to sign up if they have not attended this webinar?
That is a great question. So we have, so the link to the website will open up, and that will have all of the information. It will have a list of the courses that are the programs, the courses that are available. It will have most of the information, all of the information you need, an apply link. LaShawn, is there something else that, whoops, that's what happens when I drop the pen. LaShawn, any other resources that we can share?
Yeah, I dropped the link for our LMS platform that will give the details about the course descriptions and an overview of that. So I dropped the link in the chat. I'll title it.
And are we going to post this recording or share it in some way?
Yes, we can absolutely share it and share the slides as well. And make sure everybody has the links. Right, other thoughts or questions?
Thank you so much for joining, for folks who are helping out.
Oh, thank you. All right, Jackie, I do see Dr. Norris. All courses are free of charge. So is there sponsors to supplement part of a dissertation?
Did you get that? Did you understand? Do we want to maybe come off mute and ask that, or did you fully? Are you going to answer that, Tanya? Or do you want Dr.
I'm
Morton
sorry.
to come off mute? Yeah.
No, I was hoping you would answer that.
Do you understand? I mean, do you need Dr. Norris to come off mute to ask the question, or do you feel like you fully grasp the question?
I think if Dr. Norris, if you're able to come off mute.
Okay. Yeah, I'm on. Okay. This is Elder Dr. Jacqueline Norris. I'm Jackie. It's good to see you. A long time. I hope you remember me. I was a part of your
Of course.
NAACP. Yes.
Yes.
I just finished my doctorate in 2023, still engaged. Well, one of the things that I would like to know, wonderful program, been in this a long time. Sometimes free sponsorship. Sometimes there is academia who's also involved, and they take the data and it's a part of their dissertation project with the ideas that people use in capstones. So does that help in understanding my question a little bit clearer? Or not?
Sorry.
Hello?
Yeah, hi. So you suggest asking if that is part of what we are doing or part of future plans?
Well, part of what you're doing and future plans, because one of the things that I find is that you have these grassroots individuals who are doing a lot. And that's why Johns Hopkins and some other places were forced to create a platform for those individuals who they work with in these environmental justice platforms to call them research assistants. This is how you gather data. but in the middle of it, it's like writing a paper. You know, you don't want people to steal your ideas without them putting in some kind of documentation that the idea came from whatever community. So that's what I'm talking about. I think it's a wonderful program. And I've been following this for a long time, you know, the whatever, and Jackie. So I hope that's a little clearer, or maybe it's a future. So does that help?
So you're kind of wondering what guardrails are in place to keep people from just coming in and extracting this information and using it on their own without crediting the frontline
Yes.
communities who've given. Mhm.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay, Tanya.
Yeah. Go ahead.
So thank you first for that, because and I'm sorry, I keep hitting stuff. If goodness, so Jackie, I'm going to encourage Linda
No, I'm
LaShawn
just kidding.
in.
No, it's okay.
But
I think it's not really something that we've fully thought out, Elder Dr. Norris, and it would be great to get more of your partnership on it, because we idealistically, wanted to kind of liberate the knowledge economy, with this and so forth. And you definitely make a good point. So so I think it's definitely something for further thought. We really, our intentions was to have it be open source, so that information, so that we lifted up the knowledge the frontline communities had and made it available for more people to have. But we do want to, and we made it clear to everyone who was going through that that's how we were going to use it, to make it available to anyone who is seeking this information, because we want as many folks on this journey of Black liberation and just transition as possible. And at the same time, it's a good. Oh, and I hear you, Sister Melody. Thanks, Carla, for coming. Um, so I think it definitely requires a little bit more consideration, and yeah.
Okay, well, yeah, Sister Melody, who's with, I think, Vermees, been around a long time, and I'm just here to kind of like make sure or give ideas of how a wonderful program or a project like this can be implemented, but think about those individuals who will be doing like case studies that can be utilized. And right now we're in a knowledge information base, but also the undercurrent is that a lot of academia has partnered with, please excuse me for saying this, but I'm not sorry for saying it. Um, like some of the white institutions have hired some of our people to create programs like this, so that when the funding comes down next year, because I've been in this stuff for a long time, that they will be the creators, and then the people who they have in academia and who's been out there a long time, and not telling people that they are consultants with those groups, to be put everything on the table, and they have a different agenda. But no, I'm just giving some questions. So, Jackie, whatever I can do, because I wasn't going to sign up, but I have another meeting at 5. But yeah, you have my information, because I've, signed up. I get everything you do. But those are just some questions I just want to put out there. That's all, so that we can all be on an even platform and to help those who live it. Okay, does that help?
that does
Hello?
very much help.
Okay, good.
So
I'm
thank
glad it
you.
helped. Okay,
Yeah,
okay, great.
absolutely. And I encourage you, we want to hear these ideas. So please, thank you for bringing them forward and saying what needs to be said. And anybody else who has any other questions and thoughts for us, we are very open to doing and considering all of them, because As Jackie said, it's a balance between wanting to make this easily accessible to everybody, but certainly not having people take advantage or do things that are not ethical, as you've talked about. So thank you for that, and thank you for the ones in the chat. So with that, please again, send us all of your questions or thoughts. We want to just end by thanking and honoring everybody. And thank you first for coming to join us today. And for those of you that will listen to this later, we want to honor and thank the Black communities that led the way towards and are continuing to lead the way towards a just transition. All of the Certification Institute participants, those current and those who are soon to come, who are showing up with courage, commitment, and a vision to use this information and this platform to further their goals. All of our partners, the facilitators, the guest speakers, the faculty members, everybody who has brought their wisdom to this work. It certainly helps us anchor the work that we're doing. The team at the Chisholm Legacy Project, LaShawn, Jackie, so many people, particularly the popular education and the program team. We work behind the scenes doing so much that if we did a webinar on that, LaShawn, it would just take a few days, but we do to get this up and running. And then to the ancestors and movement builders whose sacrifices laid the foundation for Black liberation and just transition. Again, contact us at the email here. We will respond, we will see them. We are open to it if you want to join us, if you have any of those interests that I had mentioned before, please do. And with that, I will say thank you and stop sharing. And wish everybody a very good day, and hope to interact with you soon at the Certification Institute. LaShawn, Jackie, any final words?
Adding our thanks, I think. Thank you.
Thank you everyone for attending, and have a wonderful day.
Indeed.